Today, President Trump is expected to sign an executive order aimed at eliminating the Department of Education. Brian Brenberg joins me now. Brian, you're a former professor.
Yeah.
You know, the Department of Education, I think, was created, all the way back in 1979.
Way back in '79.
Under Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
And it seems to be an unqualified nightmare, chaos, awful failure, in my opinion, because you look at the state of schools today
Right.
and how they compare to students around the world. It's embarrassing for the United States.
Yeah, if you judge a department based on, I don't know, something like results, it hasn't been that great, okay? American education has ticked lower and lower globally.
Yeah.
So what is President Trump doing here? I want to kind of recast this a little bit because, yes, he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. He knows that ultimately you need the Congress to do that, right? So he's saying to Linda McMahon, do everything you can to shrink it. But it is not about the Department of Education. It is about parents, okay?
Yeah.
What he's really doing here is saying, I want to give the authority that these guys have, the resources these guys have. I want to give that back to the people who rightfully should be in charge of a child's education. And I got to tell you, that is music to parents' ears around this country who saw what happened during COVID, who wanted to take education, maybe their own direction, wanted to have the liberty to do that, and felt like at every angle they were being targeted as the bad guy. What President Trump is saying is parents who want a better education for their kids are the good guys, and we're going to help them. And if the federal government's standing in the way, and it is with the Department of Education, get rid of as much of it as you can and take the stuff that has to stay and have it done by somebody who can do it well, actually. And maybe that's a different agency, actually.
What a concept. You know, I just saw a stat very quickly. We'll move on to another subject. But I think what kids in this country are learning at 8th grade, they're learning at the 3rd grade level in Singapore. Just for an example. 5 years behind. That should not be happening in this country.
Well, the Department of Education was built for unions, not kids, and you can see that in the results.
Amen to that. All right, we'll move on to this. Attorney General Pam Bondi condemning the recent attacks on Tesla dealerships and properties. She says more arrests are coming for those responsible.
We have charged multiple people. Get ready, more coming. And yes, the funding is one thing we are looking at among many others. I was personally in a meeting about it this morning. We are coming after you. We believe these are organized. These are not individuals out there throughout the country doing this on their own. They're targeting Tesla owners. They're targeting Tesla dealerships. They're targeting Elon Musk, who is out there trying to save our country, and it will not be tolerated. We are coming after you. We will find you. And if you are an organized group who is funding this, we're going to find you too.
Amen.
One word for these people: pathetic. Right, Brian? I mean, come on.
Well, to me, it's the contrast, because you see burning cars, and that immediately makes me think of the summer of 2020. And the kind of non-response we got from all sorts of cities and locales and the FBI, whatever. Now you've got an attorney general who's saying, you can't do this. You're domestic terrorists. There's no two ways about it. We're going after you, and we're going to go after the people who pay for this, okay? Because it's not just the crazy wackos doing this. It's who they're tapped into and getting support from, information from, money from. These doxers online letting the world know if you own a Tesla and go after them. Pam Bondi says all of it, not going to happen. It's over. We're coming after you. And thank goodness that we're finally dealing with these morons the way they ought to be dealt with.
Common sense, finally. Law and order, what a concept.
Novel concept, right?
Indeed. Brian, thank you. You can take a deep breath because you got a show coming up. We're going to catch you
solo.